It's in our faces every day, and it's very easy to look at it and say, I can't fix that. And that's because you don't fix extremism, you prevent it. And so the last, 20, 30, 40 years, we haven't really done the best job at preventing it. But that doesn't mean we can't work today to prevent it in the future. And that's a hard place to be, and it makes life feel difficult and lonely. Unsurprisingly, loneliness is one of the major causes of extremism. So we have this weird position that we exist in where we're trying to stop it from happening, but it also makes us more susceptible to it at the same time. In May of 2023, the CDC released a report about the epidemic of loneliness. It's like a 60-page bunch of data about how we sort of feel disconnected, what's causing it, and what we can do to fix it. But there are a few things that it doesn't touch on that I thought history might be able to help us look at in a better way. What I did was I looked up various cures for loneliness throughout American history, and here is what I have found. Marriage. Over the last 60 or so years, the institution of marriage in America has taken a backseat to this independent pursuit of love. Now, the reason why this came back to sort of hurt us is because in all other countries where matchmakers and arranged marriages exist, it's a community effort to find people for us. It's no longer, it's all your fault, it's all your responsibility. It's everyone participates. So in an individualistic country like the United States, we could do more matchmaking. We could look at people and say, do you guys belong together? Can we set people up who belong? Like, think about ourselves as all being in this lonely pool together, and that maybe pushing people together that we know can help us in the future. Work. Devil will find work for idle hands to do, Morrissey says. I know that's another paraphrasing of a different quote. But anyway, the brain and body are occupied by work, and then we don't feel lonely because we're devoted to whatever task. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about feeling like what you do is important, and that is where we suffer today. We don't get compensated appropriately for our work. We are devalued. We go to a job and feel like they don't care about me, I don't care about it, I feel alone as a result. So this is one of those times where standing up for wages for maybe others or yourself, all of us together, will benefit. We feel less lonely when people are fighting for us. We want to help each other. The telephone. The telephone was thought to be this great cure for rural loneliness. People who lived out in the country or on farms didn't have a way to talk to people in cities or at other farms. So, we have this great invention now. And it wasn't so much the act of calling and speaking to people that was important. It was the fact that it just existed and we could connect. So the world became a little smaller. Today, the problem is that we have so many connections in every direction that most of them feel like they're not giving us any connection because it's just a constant barrage of either unimportant information or dead ends. So limiting the amount of connections that we have might help loneliness get a little bit better. Adopting an orphan. Aww. So don't literally adopt an orphan unless you actually have the ability to. Gathering new friends with whom to walk life's many paths. I can't do a trick. This one you can take as it is. I think this is still important. The best answer to this question, what is the cure for loneliness, that I could find came from a columnist in the LA Times named Helen Erskine. In 1962, she said the cure for loneliness is action. Could be physical action, could be mental action. If you are alone, seek action. When you do the same thing every day, what was originally perceived as action feels like routine. Your life might be full of action already, and you just don't see it because you're so accustomed to it. One of the ways that you can sort of contextualize the action of your life is talking to people or becoming friends with people who lead very chaotic and bizarre lives to you. Just hearing their stories, seeing what happens to them, makes you feel either more interesting or more grounded.